Morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to this webinar on energy and indoor environmental quality performance of personalized environmental control system, which we also call PECS. My name is Bjarne Olesen, and together with Ongun, we are leading an IEA EBC Annex 87 on PECS. And this seminar is a kind of introduction to the Annex, get some insight in what we are dealing with. So today we have several presenters. I will introduce the Annex. Ongun will talk about desk-mounted personalized ventilation system. Sang will talk about foot warmers providing efficient heating. Sabine Hoffman will talk about heated and cooled chairs. And Yun Ho Choi will talk about variable heating and cooling technology. So what is PECS? We define or describe PECS as a personal environmental control system with the functions of heating, cooling, ventilation, lighting, and acoustic. And it has advantages of controlling the local environment of occupants' workstation by their preference instead of conditioning an entire room. Now, it's not like a PECS have to be able to do all these functions, but one or two of them, we still call it PECS. Some may have all the functions. And we know from many years of research, it's not the first time we talk about PECS, that this personalized system improves personal comfort, health, and energy efficiency of the entire heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system. And then important nowadays, after a couple of years with COVID, is that the personalized ventilation will also protect against cross-contamination, which are critical, especially open plan offices or where people they are sitting very close. Mostly we talk about conditioning of the whole spaces. Same with ventilation. We talk about mixing ventilation, where we basically control the whole space. We also have other types of ventilation, but we are looking at the whole space. Here we are talking about a system which are at the desk of the person, or it could be, as you see here, locally heated in the chairs. It could be heating of feet. We will hear about both things today. It could be a personal ventilation. There could also be local cooling. The objectives of the Annex is to establish design criteria and operation guidelines for PECS. Also quantify what are the benefits regarding health, comfort, and energy performance. And then discuss or give guidelines on control concepts and guidelines for operating PECS in spaces with a general ambient system for heating, cooling, ventilation, and lighting. So often you have, besides the personal system, you may have a general system, which you may be not so strict on the design criteria if you have a personalized system also. But that's some of the things we are going to study. Basically, the scope of the Annex is to include all types of PECS for local heating, cooling, ventilation, air cleaning, lighting, and acoustic. It includes desktop systems which are mounted on a desk or integrated in a furniture. Ongun will talk a little about today's knowledge on that. It can be chairs with heating, cooling, and ventilation, and Sabine will talk about that. And we also have local heating, which are feet, which we will talk about. Finally, it could also be variables, where the heating, cooling, and ventilation are included in garments or devices attached to the occupant's body. We do not include the situation you have in a car. there is a lot of research really on personalized system in a car, which we can use in this annex, but we are not particularly going to study the environment of a car. There is a lot of studies and there's a lot of papers on that. And what we really would like to see is a PECS that operate that they do in a car. It recognizes who is now driving, and the same, it recognizes who is now at the workplace. So that's some of the future goals. The audience is wide. It's manufacturers who want to design or are designing personalized system, building owners and consultants who are thinking about installing a PECS system. Also the user. We see also there will be a market for home workplaces. We see in the future there will be more home workplaces, and that will be one way of upgrading your working environment. But also the standardization bodies, because we would like to have design criteria and so integrated in standards related to the indoor environmental quality. Now, we have had the first year of preparation in the annex, and next month we are starting the working phase, which is about 3 years, and then there's 1 year reporting phase. Not that there's strict distinction between working phase and reporting phase. There's some reporting we want to start earlier based on today's knowledge, but the end is at the end of December, so in about 4 years from now. We have specified different subtasks. We have one fundamentals, where we have a leader, Maria, and we have a co-leader, Dolana. And they are going to look at definition and identification of the requirements of PECS in terms of localized and background indoor environmental quality. So what criteria for the personal, but also for the ambient system. They're also going to look at outline the benefits of PECS regarding comfort, health, and productivity based on the literature and new research available. And then they're looking at the minimum energy cost requirements for PECS. Another Subtask B is looking at application and technologies. We are not yet 100% positioned the leader or co-leader, but the plan is Kai Rewitz from Germany would be the leader, pending on national funding for doing that. And a co-leader, Joyce Kim from University of Waterloo, Canada. Their activity will summarize the working principle, capabilities, and limitations of existing PECS based on literature. And then also identify future development and improvement suggestions for PECS for optimal energy and IEQ and cost performance. Subtask C is dealing with control, operation, and system integration. It will be led by one of our speakers today, John Ho Choi from University of Southern California, and co-leader Bin Yang from Tianjin University in China. They were looking at identifying and summarize existing methods for controlling PECS, including sensors and use for the control, and develop guidelines on how to integrate PECS with ambient condition system, which has often been a problem or a big question. Subtask D is IAQ and Energy Performance Evaluation. It's led by Dua from KU Leuven in Belgium, co-leader Marco Perino from Polytechnic in Torino. And they will be working with a collection of existing methods for studying and testing PECS, identify our generic power requirements for PECS to achieve energy savings compared to ambient condition system. So here we're looking at the energy performance. If you can have less strict guidelines, design guidelines for ambient system, combined with PECS, what are the energy results of that? But also develop a universal and standardized way of evaluating and reporting performance. So we are looking at here, how should we test a PECS system? The last subtask is policy and advisory actions. Again, we have a question mark, but the plan is that Rajan from CEPT University in India will lead that. We haven't identified a code leader yet. They will make a summary of national, international building codes and standards regarding PECS. There's very little of that, but there exists some. Develop ways of overcoming current barriers for a wide implementation of PECS in buildings, and then provide input to national and international standards. We are planning different deliverables, a guidebook on requirements, a state-of-the-art report, which can start already because it's based on what we know today, and a guidebook on PECS design, operation, and implementation in buildings and integration with other systems. Report on test methods for how to evaluate PECS system. What measurement do we need to do to evaluate it? And then a set of universal criteria, requirements and characteristics and performance of PECS to be used in national and international standards. So this is a short overview of the annex. We have had a couple of meetings. We have, I think, more than 80 people interested, and normally we are about 30, 40 people when we have a meeting. But now we're going to talk some of the more specific. So I will give the word to Ongun, who will talk about desktop system.